Welcome back to the CONEXPO ConEg podcast. I'm your host, Taylor White. Today we have someone that we wanted to make sure that we had on the show, someone who plays a huge role in making sure that the construction news surrounding the industry, and especially shows like CONEXPO. You may know him as the Diggerman blog on Instagram with over 100,000 followers. Nick Drew. Nick, I'm so happy to have you here, man.
Well, it's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah, no problem. I wanted to talk to you and get you on here today because I remember the first time that I found out about you. It was actually vice versa. You wrote an article about my now wife operating an excavator, and you kind of captivated how it was kind of unique, like getting women in construction and getting, a beginner kind of in that. And I thought that was super neat. So I wanted to get you on here to kind of talk about what you have going on, what you've done, and you've done so much in the industry over the years that I've been watching you at least. So I think that you kind of have a lot to share, and I feel like starting with a bit of your backstory would be kind of interesting. So how long have you been in the construction industry? Because I know that you used to have your own gig, correct?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I mean, for me, all this in the construction plant machinery world, it started way back in the sort of mid 1970s. My dad was a backhoe operator, backhoe loader operator, mainly JCBs in the UK here. And I used to go to work with him as a kid, sit on his lap, and the score, you pick the levers up and you're having to play during the break times, and it just continued from there really. So as soon as I was old enough to go to work on my own, my dad actually got me a job, and away I went. So
that's
onto the machines, and
I relate to that. I mean, for sure,
of course,
definitely kind of sitting on the lap and kind of finding your. Is that like, I guess you kind of like found your love for the industry back then, right? Like kind of like, this is what I like.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to do, and there was never any doubt what I was going to do when I left school. It was in my mind right from the word go, really. So
that's awesome. So, I saw on your Instagram, it says that you are a plant owner and an operator. Is that current?
Yeah, not currently. No, I did have a go at that in the past. I had my own machines for a little while.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, a dodgy customer didn't pay me, and that was the end of that. So
brutal.
Yeah, but it's something that happens in life, unfortunately, and it was just one of those things, and I just moved on. Nice. You get on with life, and I got back in the game straight away, virtually, just driving for someone else, and carried on like that.
So your business. So what kind of stuff were you doing when you had your plant going? Like what kind of work did you do? And when you say plant, I guess that might be a language barrier for us over here.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Plant in this country is plant machinery, is heavy equipment, basically.
Cool. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. For some reason, we've always called it plant, heavy plant.
Yeah. No. And I kind of figured, but I'm like, maybe people listening might not.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So you had your own gig,
slang.
and nice. And what kind of work were you mainly doing? Like, obviously, heavy machinery work, so excavation, like site preparations, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I was involved in stuff like housing sites, housing developments and stuff like that. Some small civil engineering works and sort of local, you call it local authority works, I guess. And we call it the council, Nice. So I used to do that kind of stuff. I was never into the real heavy muck shifting scene. That's a different world altogether. But it was just regular day-to-day work, really. So
totally. And when you had that back then, what did you find now, I guess, versus then that you see? I mean, because you're still in this industry, and you still see it right on a day-to-day. Like, what do you see that's changed, I guess, kind of for the good and maybe the bad in the industry?
Well, obviously, we're seeing a lot of technology now, aren't we? With all this, the GPS and everything. That's the way they're going now. And the big thing in this country as well, the take up of the tilt rotators. And I know you've got some tilt rotators on board now, the rotor tilt, I believe, from what I've seen.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a game changing piece of kit. Just fantastic,
100%.
And I've been to Sweden many times, and it's just like everywhere you go, there's people with tilt rotators. And, in the UK, it was a bit of a slow burner. It took people a long while to to get the gist of it. But now they understand the benefits. Yeah, it's expensive, but you got to look at the bigger picture, and I think that's what it does. It brings massive benefits. So
I agree totally. And you know, it was funny because you touched on, you know, kind of what I was thinking when you were saying that is, you know, when you go to Sweden, they're everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of it too, is, you know, people being like, oh, you know, welcome to the 21st century, North America. You're finally catching on. You know, do you find that it, like, the adoption of the technology of a tilt rotator, making a machine, making an excavator where, hey, we can put different attachments on this. We can swivel the bucket 360. You know, you can put a broom on it, a grade beam, a roller, a packer. You know, like, do you find that like other places, like even the UK, were slower to adopt that once like Sweden and them kind of started using them?
Yeah, really, yeah. It's been slow to get going here, but you know, now everyone's seeing what they can do. We're seeing more and more people get them on board, and like you say, you become a multifaceted piece of kit. You can put all those different attachments on, and it's just like the extension of your wrist, isn't it? The things you can do with them. So yeah,
what I've found is key is having the right operator on it, right? Because like,
absolutely, that's
always,
crucial.
I always tell my guys, and I'm like, you know, guys, like, you can just jam somebody on that, and then, you know, that you know, very expensive piece of equipment, it could be worth really nothing because it's not being used to its full potential. But what's really key and really important is, you know, getting the people that actually, like, first of all, a really important thing is wanting the knowledge to know how to make the thing work. And like, that's what excites me, is when I hire an operator that is excited about learning new things about the rotator. Like, hey man, like, guys, come watch this. So I learned that if I'm loading the truck and I tilt this way, or if I use the grade beam and I swivel the topsoil this way, like, it's important who you have actually running the machine versus just having the machine.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to have someone who's going to embrace that concept and has limitless imagination of the things they can do with it. So that is key.
And it's really cool. And I know on your page as well too, like, you highlight, you know, people that are so amazing on these tilt rotators that just blow me out of the water. I'm just like, you know, I fall into a trance sometimes. It's like, I've been watching tilt rotator videos for 3 hours now. What am I doing with my life? But man, some people, you know, guys and girls that run these machines is unbelievable. It's crazy what they can do.
Yeah. It often makes me laugh. You get on the social media, you get some guys saying, oh, it's just dumbing down the skills. But, you know, no way. It's taking the skills to yet another level. And like you say, the things these guys can do is just amazing. So.
Yeah, it's taking it to another level, because you run an excavator, and then you get an excavator, and now you have 6 more buttons on your actual joysticks that you got to now control and remember what each one does. And it's a completely different, like, factor of running a machine. So yeah, no, totally. So the technology is a big thing as well. But I know a big thing that a lot of people touch on right now, especially us, and like, what was it, I guess, back then when you were doing it, like running your own plant, your own business,
machines,
heavy machinery business, with the laborers? Like how was it finding people to work for you? Because right now, that's a hot topic.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. I mean, I'd never employed people on the ground. I was just doing the machinery hire, so to speak. But I still had to find operators, which was difficult way back then. You know, when was that? About 1997 to 2001. And it was hard enough then. And now, everywhere I go, people say, we can't find operators. What we're going to do? And I just haven't got the answer. So somehow we got to embrace people, getting younger people involved, getting them interested in the game, and, you know, bring them on in. But
I agree totally. I think that's exactly what it is we need to show people that necessarily wouldn't want to be exposed or work in the construction blue collar industry, show them what it's like, and show them how it can be. But I think a part of that is also a lot of businesses and construction companies need to make it, you know, places that these young people want to come and work for, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You've got to make it appealing to people, because, you know, sadly, some people are just brainwashed with they've got to go to college, they've got to go to university, they've got to get all this degree, and that, and they don't ever consider the construction industry. But I mean, the construction industry as it was portrayed has come a long way from what it used to be. So, you know, it is an attractive place to be. So we've got to convince these people that it is a great place to work.
Yeah. And then I think that's where guys like you come in too, though, and highlighting that and kind of showing people what it is like. I mean, and showing the different type of, machines and attachments and technology and what's going on in the industry and the news. And I mean, that is, what you do. Um,
Yeah.
And so I guess you kind of did highlight about like why you kind of made that shift. You had a bit of a bad experience with someone who kind of was like, but where did your love for what you do now? Because what you do now is, I think, a kind of a niche in the market. I mean, you have people that are doing it, but I mean, I kind of think like you're the original of, doing this,
Yeah.
freelance blogging and journalism in the construction industry. So like, how did you get into that?
Yeah. Oh, well, you're quite right there, because at the time there wasn't anyone else doing it. And
No.
how it came about was, I think it was 2008. I was posting on forums for people with an interest in the heavy machinery. And a guy who I owe a lot to, called Will Mann, he was working for a magazine in London at the time called Contract Journal. And he was watching what I was doing on this forum. And he just messaged me out the blue, really strange, and said, "Oh, we love what you're doing. We're thinking of setting up a blog. We're going to call it the Digger Blog." And he said, "We thought you'd be ideal for it." And I just thought he was having a wind up to start with.
Pulling your leg.
But yeah, I did. Yeah, I thought, this guy's not serious, but he was serious. He came all the way down to the West Country here in England, where I live, from up London Way, and met me in a pub for lunch, and we had a chat about it. And the next thing, I was practicing how to do all this stuff, posting on the blog and inserting the pictures and all that kind of stuff, which is all new to me. And I had a month of learning how to do that, and then I was away, and we never looked back, really. And then we had a recession here in the UK in about just tail end of 2009, and they decided, the business behind it decided to get out of construction because they weren't getting the advertising revenue. But in the meantime, I've been talking to another website called the Construction Index, and they said, "Come and join us." So I joined them. So I was with them for a while, and then I happened to be in Turin with New Holland Construction, a product launch, and the editor of Earth Movers magazine, which is a magazine I've been reading since 2004 when it first came out. I've still got every copy. He sort of came up to me and said, "Hey, Nick, there's always a place for your Earth Movers if you're interested." And that was another one of these mind-blowing moments. I thought, this is not happening. But I thought, well, why not? Let's give it a go. So I joined him. I was still driving machines, and I was doing that as a sideline. And then we got to about 2015, and it was getting awkward to combine the two jobs. You were having to go in to run a machine. Although I was self-employed, you'd have to say, "I need a couple of days off next week to go to Munich or wherever I was going." And they'd look at you a bit funny and think, "Oh, we need somebody sat in that seat." And I thought that was the sort of thing I thought, I've got to get out and do one or the other. And I thought, I'm enjoying this much more. I'm going to do this. So nice. I've been doing this ever since. And, I'm not going to say it was all a bed of roses. It was a struggle to start with, because I dropped a wage from driving machines. And you can earn decent money driving machines these days, as we know. But it's built and built as I've gone along, and it's all going great now. So fantastic!
I can respect that.
Absolutely love it. Every day I get up, I love it, because it's something different. I'm going to see somebody different, or someone's machine, something new, something I still get the buzz because I can get on the machines and try them out, do a test drive. So yeah, it's just the best job in the world. Love it.
Yeah, we need more of that. We need more of people, highlighting that they actually, like, they wake up, they love what they do. I mean, right? Like,
yeah.
I always say that to people as well, and it's nice. It's refreshing to hear that, because making sure that when you wake up that you're doing something that you love, it's important. And like you said, you took a pay cut at that start just to kind of be like, this is truly what I love, because you realized, probably, I'm going to assume that your happiness and your passion for something was worth more than a little bit of money. And it's worked out for you, because now this is what you do, and everyone's watching you on social media, and
it's
everyone
crazy.
watches your blogs on or looks at your blogs on Earth Movers magazine. And so Earth Movers magazine, is that like just you're working with them, or you do freelance on your own?
I primarily worked with Earth Movers, obviously, and they're the host on their website for the Diggerman blog.
Yeah, they seem
obviously
great.
I do. No, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic company. And it's just a brilliant magazine. I love it. I can't say a bad word about it. It's just fantastic. So yeah, but I do a lot more freelance stuff now as well. I've been commissioned by various companies: JCB, Caterpillar, Hyundai, Takuchi. There's loads of them, but to do photography and do some video work and stuff. So yeah, it's just going up and up and up all the time, which is fantastic.
Yeah, well, especially in the last.
Amazing. The amazing thing is, I'm now I'm 61 years old. I feel like a bit of a dinosaur.
Really?
Yeah.
You look amazing, man. Jeez, good for you. I saw you're biking. You're doing biking.
Yeah,
you're getting fit, and I like it.
Yeah, I'm skating again and dabbling with going back playing hockey, but who knows?
That's awesome. Good for you. No, it's exciting. And like you were kind of just saying, some of these opportunities, sometimes it kind of feels surreal. Like, I mean, like, I'm sure you have amazing contacts with everybody now, but like the first time that, maybe someone from CAT reaches out or you make that connection from CAT or JCB and they're like, hey, like we want to pay you to come here and do this and do that. Is it kind of like surreal? Do you ever sit back sometimes and it's like, dang, like I created this life for myself. That's like, this is my passion. This is what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm constantly pinching myself. Is this really happening? But yeah, just embrace it and go with it. So,
and like you were saying, you're headed to Finland tomorrow.
Yeah, Finland. No, I go to Finland on Monday.
Nice.
I'm out there for a week. It's a place that is very dear to my heart. I really love the place. I've been quite a few times now. I've got some good friends out there. I put a shout out here for Ollie Pavio, who works for the CONEXPO magazine.
Shout out Ollie.
And it's just a great guy. We've become great friends. He's been doing journalism for over 25 years in Finland, and we've worked together a long time now. He kind of picked up on me in the early days of the blog and was sharing some of my material, and we've gone on to work together and just become great friends. I go out there, cover some shows and stuff, and we always find some job reports for me to go and see that I can bring back and do a story for the magazine. It's just fantastic.
Nice. And what do you see as right now? Like, what are some of the main stuff that these companies are wanting you to highlight? Or maybe I know that you get to, select what you want to highlight as well, but what do you see kind of right now that is really important? Like, is it people talking about labor shortage? Or are you mainly just highlighting like, hey, we got this new piece of machinery that's coming out? Like what are you really highlighting? What are you doing your blogs on? And then I guess, what do you like prefer? What's your favorite thing to blog about and to showcase online?
Yeah. Well, the blog by its nature is a host of various topics. I don't try to focus on anything
smart,
special in particular. I like to keep it varied, keep it interesting. A lot of people still love the old kit, so I'm always doing stuff about the old classic kit. Even today, I posted a blog there talking about a Pokelane excavator from 1983 that's a friend of mine has actually restored, and and people love all that stuff, in the old photos, old videos, and stuff like that. But yeah, obviously, yeah, I love it. Yeah, I remember you done one video with the Atlas. Yeah. And I think I blogged on that one at the time, didn't I? Things like that, they just jump out at me, and I think, yeah, that's fantastic. I've got to share that. So
yeah, that's cool.
I know people love it.
Yeah, your process behind like finding what to blog about and stuff like that. That's what I mean. Like that's what I find interesting. It's
a full-on job.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, trying to find stuff for every day of the week, or working week. It's like, oh my God, how can I keep coming up with stuff?
yeah, you have quite the brain, because it's like kind of even related to like YouTube content or something. It's like, okay, like, you do so much effort into producing that one piece of content or that blog, that write up, and then immediately after you're done, you get the sense of what's next.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a relentless task. It really is. But as we've said, fortunately, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to talk about maybe your time at the so CONEXPO 2020 was your first CONEXPO.
Yes.
And I remember seeing tons of your content, and one piece that actually sticks out from my brain, like whenever I think of you and I think CONEXPO, is this really cool looking dozer with like this crazy field of view.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
It was like, what was, it was, I don't know. It started with a D maybe, or
Dresster,
yes.
TD16N. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Great
yeah,
memory. But yeah, whenever I
yeah.
think that, so it was your first one. What kind of drew you out there, and what did you like about it, and kind of your experience with it, maybe?
Well, I went to the CONEXPO, and I was actually invited out by the Lugon Group, who obviously
Nice.
are the owners of Dresster, and
Amazing.
they wanted to give the new dozer some high profile coverage. So
That's
fortunately,
crazy because it
I was
worked.
asked to go. Yeah, yeah,
That's literally what I remember.
yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
awesome. I didn't
amazing.
even know that. We didn't
Yeah,
talk about that pre-hand. That's crazy. Yeah, that's
no,
literally what I
yeah,
remember was this. I remember showing my father actually. I'm like, look at this dozer. Like
yeah,
that thing
yeah,
is crazy looking. It
yeah,
was
yeah,
really cool,
yeah.
and you highlighted all the
Yeah, it's
features about it.
fantastic. Yeah, yeah, and it was designed by a guy in the UK called Gary Major, in partnership with a colleague of his, Ed Wagner, an American guy. And yeah, they've just rewritten the rule book really on that one in
Yeah.
terms of visibility. It's just mind blowing. So we're still waiting for the finished product to come through. It's happening.
Well, things
We've
take
heard.
time.
So yeah, absolutely. They've got to get these things right. And yeah, I've been fortunate enough to see it up close as well. So yeah, we're
Yeah, it was
just
nice.
waiting,
Yeah, it
waiting for
was
that to come out.
yeah, it was nice to see you highlight that stuff and to see at the show
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well too.
yeah,
You know, coming all the way
yeah,
from the
yeah,
UK,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
it was really interesting to kind of see somebody from over the sea and over
yeah,
the ocean and come over here and kind of see what we got going on, because I know that you guys obviously have a lot of awesome large shows over there as well.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
kind of like highlighting ConExpo, that was pretty neat for us to see. Like, what else did you like? I know that you were there specifically with the company, but did you get to walk around and like, maybe see like new technology or the networking? Like, what really stands out for you at the ConExpo?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I spent quite a few days there, probably nearly a week really, and I did get to go. I get to go around. Obviously, it got cut short because of the COVID, didn't it? But
Oh yeah,
and we were panicking about getting back, but we did make it. But
awesome.
yeah, I mean, it was a bit kind of took my breath away. Really, it's the razzmatazz. Nobody does that like the North American people. It's fantastic. So yeah, I was buzzing all the way around there, and it kind of yeah overwhelmed me a bit. So I'm looking forward to coming back and immersing myself in it again. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting people there and machinery and
yeah, yeah,
technology,
yeah,
and it's a really
yeah,
good place for people to showcase that. But also, I feel like just putting a face to people as well, and having somebody like yourself coming from so far to the show,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
it's pretty incredible. So
yeah.
hopefully, maybe a different business or somebody this year can get you out there to highlight some new crazy dozer.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, we'll be working on that anyway.
Just wanted to pop in here real quick and let everybody know that if you need to meet them, they're going to be there at the ConExpo ConAg. You'll meet industry leaders and friends, and you're also going to build new relationships in the community, and you'll find the equipment, services, and people within your construction field. Just so everybody knows, the registration is now open, and if you guys want to save 20%, use the promo code podcast20. Again, that is promo code podcast20. I will be there. Nick, he is definitely going to be there. I know it. I'm manifesting that. And lots of people are going to be there. And it's North America's largest construction trade show. And it's March 14th to the 18th, 2023 in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Check out ConExpoConAg.com to register for more info. So I want to talk more about the industry as a whole, because obviously you see lots of it. And, maybe kind of something that you see that you can dive down into a lot, which is what kind of equipment are you seeing? Like, what are you seeing as far as these machinery? I mean, like the manufacturers, these brands, like CAT, JCB, Case, and all these people. I'm probably naming a bunch of North American stuff. You're like, man, come on. But, I feel like we're catering more to the operator now, and I feel like we're going more tech. What are you kind of seeing, and what are you seeing that of them wanting to highlight in the machinery?
Yeah, obviously there's a hell of a lot of tech coming on these days, isn't there? So they're all sort of going that way now with not so much autonomous, but the aids to operating, the machine control and all that. So there's that. There's obviously quite a focus on electric stuff, which, I don't quite know where that's going to go in terms of the bigger equipment.
I think it'll start with the smaller for sure.
Yeah. We're already seeing that here with the smaller, like mini excavators and stuff like that. As it happens, I've recently had an opportunity to go and try the new Case electric one, but unfortunately I'm going to be away while that's taking place. But but definitely it's definitely the way it's going. And then of course in here we've got JCB are dabbling with the hydrogen machines.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to pan out. Be interesting to see.
Yeah, I saw some of that. It's crazy how we're kind of everyone's kind of trying to get away from everything but diesel,
and
fuel, and kind of going to all these different alternatives. And I think it would be cool to finally see one of these actually make it mainstream and make it to the point where we can actually like use it day to day, all day, and it kind of becomes like secondhand nature. But I just feel like you're saying, like I think we're far away from that,
Yeah, it's a little way away, I think, for sure. So, but it's going to be exciting to see who's brave enough to take that plunge. And here is our new all singing, all dancing new machine. So,
yeah, I know it's like a race to the finish line, I feel like, with all these companies.
I understand that the Bauma show is coming up in Munich in October, and I'll be there for that. And it'll be interesting to see. Some people are talking about alternatives appearing there, but we shall see. It's all a bit cloak and dagger at the moment. No one's giving too much away.
Yeah, you definitely hear a little bit of rumors and of what's going on and whatnot.
Yeah.
But what kind of differences do you see from where you are to where I am, like North America to UK? What kind of differences do you see as far as the construction industry as a whole? Is there anything that stands out to you as far as maybe the way stuff are ran, or maybe more specific as far as, maybe you guys utilize an excavator in some places different that we would, or different pieces of machinery?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we are quite different in the way we do things as different territories, I guess. I know you guys are quite big into your skid steer loaders, aren't you? Track compact loaders and stuff like that.
Yep.
Over here, although they are used, they're a bit more niche. We don't see so many of them. Yeah,
that's interesting.
They are about, but nowhere near in the numbers that you guys use them. I mean,
we use track skid steers like every
for
construction
everything.
company has like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah. No, we don't see that here.
Wow.
And it's quite interesting sometimes to go out and see them. Because they're not everywhere like they are in North America. So,
why do you think that is?
I don't know. I just don't think we've embraced it. We've always just used like traditionally the backhoe loader, but obviously that's not
track loaders.
The backhoe, the wheel, like this.
An actual backhoe.
The free CX, the backhoe loader concept was always popular here, but obviously that's declined a bit in recent years.
Even here as well.
Yeah. It's nowhere near as. I mean, when my dad was operating, he drove them, and that was all he ever wanted to drive, and they were everywhere. But times have changed. I think the mini excavator concept has really taken over from that field. We see a lot of them here for sure. Combined with obviously, we're big on our site dumpers, little forward tipping dumper and things like that. Sort of up to 10 ton.
See those all the time, especially on someone over there as well, Connor, the digger driver.
Yeah.
I see his on his sites. Yeah, they use the site dumpers. Like I've honestly never seen those here.
No. It's amazing. We've always used them in this country, and every site's normally got loads of them. So.
And I guess so the purpose of that is just moving material on site from point A to point B rather than versus, I guess, maybe carrying it with a skid steer or carrying it with something else.
Exactly, yeah, because in North America you would probably shift stuff like that with a skid steer or a small wheel loader.
Yeah.
which is very, very popular in North America, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we've always had the site dumper, and that's been our like thing for ferrying gear around, chips, stones, whatever, topsoil. Yeah, that's what they're used for. And even that has evolved a bit now, because traditionally they had no cabs on them, and now there's been a real push to get them with full air conditioned cabs and everything, and that's becoming more common now. We're seeing more firms embrace that, which I think is a great thing, really, because without a cab, the drivers were very vulnerable, even with a seatbelt on. That's and obviously out in all weathers, we get some pretty horrendous wet weather in the UK, as I'm sure you're aware. And so it's better for the drivers if being a fully enclosed cab. So that's the big change in dumpers here. So.
Yeah, I think it's a big change even across the board with a lot of other stuff as well too. Like, I remember my dad, like, we have, how much snow do you get where you are?
We don't get much.
Oh, okay, so we get tons of snow. So snow is a huge thing here. Obviously, Canada. We all live in England, but at the snow dumps, I remember my dad used to say he used to run an old Cat D8, D9 dozer in the middle of the winter, minus 40, open cab, and he used to wrap the motor with an insulated blanket, throw the insulated blanket over his body, and he'd be like 2 a.m. in the morning crawling a 200 foot high snow pile, pushing up snow that dump trucks were pushing off. And it's like over time people are like, you know what, maybe we should put cabs on these things.
Exactly. That's when it really hits home how things have moved on, isn't it?
It's crazy.
They were hard men in those days.
Well, 100%. But that's funny, the differences in the machinery. Like I guess the site dumper really takes out from the loader or the skid steer that we would use on site, like doing water and sewer. Like you're using a loader or a backhoe in the bucket of something to bring stuff back and forth on site, and over there you're doing something different. Yes, that is interesting. As far as brands and where you are versus here, I like talking about the differences because this is what I find interesting. You saying like skid steers and loaders aren't so prominent. Like that stuff's really interesting to me. So what kind of brands are kind of popular there? As far as, like Cat or Case or, John Deere here, like what do you guys have over there that's very kind of like prominent?
Yeah, well, there's, I suppose in different regions, different machine brands are more popular than others, but we've got all the usual candidates in this country. Hitachi, we've got Cat, we've got Hyundai, Volvo, you name it, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And there are lots of hardcore JCB fans out there as well in the UK. So we see that. But now we've also got the Chinese guys coming in, with the Lugong. That's been,
yes, I've seen those.
They've been very popular. I've done quite a bit of work with those, and as I mentioned earlier,
they seem like pretty good machine.
Yeah, there's all the up behind the tin. It's all the well proven components, and even in the time I've been working with Lugong, I've seen a vast change in the quality of the end product as it comes through. So they're all getting their act together. And we've got Sany as well.
I see that too here. Lots more Sany, even at some shows and on some job sites, like driving around. You'll kind of look and you'll be like, "Oh crap! Like that's a Sany or a Hyundai too." You see a Hyundai.
Yeah. And we're just imminently waiting on XCMG to enter the UK market. So that's they're number 3 in the world of construction machinery equipment manufacturers.
Who is that?
XCMG, Chinese.
Really?
Number 3.
I've never heard of them.
Equipment manufacturers. Check them out. As they come in.
No way. So they're pretty big over in the Asian markets then?
I believe so, yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I've never even heard of them.
They're third behind Caterpillar and Komatsu at the moment in the league table of machinery construction equipment.
I wonder will they be priced, because that's a whole other different topic of the pricing of everything. Gone up like crazy, especially with inflation and lead times on equipment too. Like it's insane. We're still waiting on pieces from Cat that we bought last September. And I know that a lot of other people, and even people listening to the podcast right now, are dealing with the same issue. Is like you can't, first of all, find the people, but you can't get the machinery fast enough as well. Like a lot of
That's
people are
right,
waiting on
yeah.
a lot of pieces. Like, do you guys obviously are dealing with that the same thing that we are, right?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. And, you know, a lot of the, you know, after we say the more favored brands, they're not being able to supply. So people are actually going to the other brands, you know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what
Just because
happened.
they need the kit and they need it now. They can't wait. So, yeah, that's what
It's a
they're
good
doing.
opportunity for these other brands.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point. That's what I think too. A lot of people are going, okay, well, if Cat can't get me this, you know, or John Deere
Yeah.
can't get me this, well, I'm going to go
Yeah.
to, maybe I'm going to try the Sani, you know. I think
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
why maybe in the
Yeah.
past 3 years you have seen more of that. That's a good point. I actually never thought about
Yeah.
that. That's actually really
Yeah.
important, right? I mean, people are
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
hey, if I can't get what I want, I'll go somewhere else and get it, because at the end of the day, everything behind the, like you said, behind the tin is all the same
Yeah.
stuff. It's all kind of
Yeah.
somewhat all made in the same place anyways, you know.
Yeah.
I just feel like some brands maybe get a bad rap because of, like, you know, a stereotype, like, oh, that's, you know, made over
Yeah.
here, or that's made here. But at the end of the day, it's all kind of the same, but some brands have different things that others have, you know, like as far as, you know, maybe an LCD screen or a touch screen, or, you know, air cooled seats or something like that.
Yeah. And there's a certain element of brand snobbery. You know, some guys, oh, I'm not sitting in that. I want Cat on the side, or I want this on the side. And well, there you go. But that's the same with people buying cars, isn't it?
You're right. It's the same thing. Brand loyalty, and I know a lot of business owners that are like that. That are kind of just like, we only buy this and that, and I get a lot of that rap too. People saying like, oh, you only buy Cat, you only buy this. Well, we own a John Deere, we own a Komatsu. I've owned lots of Komatsus. We've tried John Deere. We used to own Hitachi. You know, we kind of, you go with whatever that you really like, and for us it comes down to service, you know. And how we can get parts if something's broken, or how we get treated as a business. And I think that's really important as well. But you're right that people there's some people that are really brand loyal. It's super, it's funny, some people get really caught up in that whole conversation of, you know, I like this versus that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So when you had your business, what kind of machinery what kind of excavators did you have? Or backhoes?
I had, well, 360 excavators was one of my main things. I had Hitachi, sort of 13 tonners. I did have one Hyundai for a bit. And on the minis, I had a Komatsu.
Wow.
I can't remember the number of it now, but it was like 2.5 ton. And then later on, I had some Hitachi minis. And then most recently, I did have a Takuchi TB235 for a while.
I've never got to run a Takuchi.
Oh, you just try.
You know what? Those are one of those brands that I'm starting to see more of here in Canada and around where I am. And they intrigue me. Are they a good machine?
Yeah, well, I really rate them personally, you know, from a personal perspective. I love them in terms of operation, just the smoothest things on the planet. They're lovely. Yeah, great machines.
Yeah, I see some guys online that are using them, and it's kind of interesting. It's not something that I see lots of, but I'm seeing more of. I'm just never had the opportunity to operate one, you know.
Yeah, you got your guy there, Elite
Earthworks. Yeah.
Elite Earthworks. Yeah, he's a big Takuchi fan.
Huge. He's been trying to get me to try Takuchi for 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
So are you guys dealing with the same stuff over there as far as like, you know, like you're hearing a lot of talk about like the price of fuel, and is it crazy over there as well too? Like, are you guys getting in like crazy price gouged with fuel and oil and all that?
Yeah, it's not great here. You know, I think it's just happening everywhere, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, after everything that's gone on with the COVID, and now we got the Ukraine situation, and it's a bit of a toxic minefield at the moment.
Where do you think we're at? Where do you think you're at? I mean, it's all personal opinion. I understand that, but where do you think we're at as far as, you know, where do we go through? Because I mean, the whole world just went through a massive like construction boom in the last 3 years, you know, like if the pandemic did one thing, I mean, maybe I'll just speak for North America, but if the pandemic did one thing, I mean, it just made construction go crazy. I mean, we saw an insane last couple of years.
Yeah. Oh, it's still crazy busy here in building like there's no tomorrow. And so who knows?
Do you see that now? Like, is it just as busy now?
Yeah, it's just as busy, if not busier. It's crazy. Yeah, absolutely crazy. So yeah, we're just hanging on and hoping that we can keep going and ride the storm, as they say. So
and get inflation under control as well, too, right?
Yeah. You know, the governments have got to try and do something with this situation. It's crazy.
Yeah. Are they doing the same thing over there as here? They're just kind of like trying to like raise interest rates, and hopefully that kind of slows stuff down.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Yeah.
Did you guys have the same housing kind of market like explosion as well over there as we did in North America? Like prices of homes just freaking skyrocketed and yeah,
it's
crazy. It's like we're further away, but we kind of have everyone's kind of been having the same thing going on, you know, like I think you're going to look back. I always say this in meetings, like we're going to look back on the time that we're in right now. And like, I mean, last year somebody wanted some work done, you throw a number at them, perfect, when can you start, you know? And I've never seen that. Even someone like my father that's been in the industry for over 40 years, you know, he's 57 now, so he's been doing it his whole life, but he's like, you know, he's like, I've never seen a time like this, you know, like this is kind of, it's wild, like, but it allowed us to grow in a way that we've never grown before, which is really interesting. And I feel like a lot of other companies as well got to act on that. Did you kind of see the same thing? A lot of businesses take, you know, the opportunity of the growth of construction over the last couple of years and kind of act on that opportunity?
Yeah, definitely. There's, you know, we've seen quite a lot of that going on here, and you know, not all of them have survived. There's been some casualties, shall we say, but no, it's been phenomenal. And your business, you know, is a prime example. I've watched with great interest as you've boomed and gone on and expanding, and it's great to see, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm actually, you know, I'm delighted that I have covered you in the past on the blog, so that's all good, isn't it?
No, I'll always remember that, especially you covering. I mean, actually, because you did the 69 Atlas and you did my wife on the Komatsu. So that was that was really awesome to see. But and listen, Nick, I mean, I'm super pumped to have you on today, and you know, I want to thank you obviously for your time, and I hope that we can see you at this year's CONEXPO in March.
Yeah, let's hope so.
I think that people should definitely check out your stuff, pay attention to you, because I know that I do the same. And I feel like you really always have your finger on the pulse of construction. Would it be fair to say that?
Well, yeah, I'd like to think so. I try my best anyway.
I think you do a little bit more than that. But Nick, thank you for coming on, man. I really, really appreciate it, and we'll catch you in the future.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for having us on. Fantastic.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
All the best. Cheers.
Just wanted to pop in here real quick and let everybody know that if you need to meet them, they're going to be there at the CONEXPO ConAg. You'll meet industry leaders and friends, and you're also going to build new relationships in the community, and you'll find the equipment, services, and people within your construction field. Just so everybody knows, the registration is now open, and if you guys want to save 20%, use the promo code podcast20. Again, that is promo code podcast20. I will be there. Nick, he is definitely going to be there. I know it. I'm manifesting that. And lots of people are going to be there. And it's North America's largest construction trade show. And it's March 14th to the 18th, 2023 in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Check out CONEXPOConAg.com to register for more info.